Welcome back to the Void Compass. I don't talk about things I have no experience in. I avoid doing that because I cannot transmit anything real to you if I haven't had some direct experience of it, a direct knowing, feeling, connection to it. It wouldn't benefit you. I only share things I have direct experience with. Now, a lot of you come to me with deep suffering, extended suffering, repeated patterns of painful themes and scenarios that unfold in your life. And my ultimate goal, whether you are listening to my videos or whether you are doing a session with me, my ultimate goal is always liberation, free you from that suffering, guide you through it. But I also want you to discover your true nature. I want you to be soul aligned, aligned with the divine. I want you to be in your purpose, fulfilling the reason of why you incarnated here in the first place. Now, I put out a short film a couple of days ago. Thank you guys for watching it and for the very positive, lovely comments. But there is one line in there that's pivotal, which is, sink beneath the turbulent waves of the mind into the depths of the ocean of your soul. It is poetic, yes, but there is more to it than that. It's not just fancy words. This is actually applicable. What I'm saying here is, in order to deal with, to liberate yourself from any degree of suffering, you cannot do it from the same level where that suffering exists. You cannot. You cannot fix a perpetual seeking, a longing, a form of pain like that. You cannot fix that and be liberated from it from that same level. So you have to understand the location of where that suffering exists. Where do you think it exists? At what level? Does suffering exist within the soul? No. It exists within the mind. Whether it be the conscious level of the mind or the subconscious level of the mind. That's where it exists. Well, then you say, what am I supposed to do? I have all these subconscious patterns. Well, they're only subconscious because you're not currently conscious of them. What if there was a way you could sink deeper than the patterns into a place so deep, such a deep point of awareness, where you feel a spaciousness, you feel a connectedness to something far greater than this physical, realized, illusory movie that is playing out? What if you could sink beneath all of that into a place of the real, of what is actually real, beyond 3D reality? You could sink so deep in your consciousness that you could feel the spaciousness of what you actually are. Would you then be suffering? No. No, we only suffer when we are up at the level of the mind. That is how it works. Whatever it is. Let's take seeking, for example. You're seeking, searching for something. You always feel it, omnipresent. Maybe you're seeking for love. You're seeking to fill horizontally through the illusion, through the mental plane. A perceived lack. I lack love. I am not connected to love. Let me seek it through this person, through that thing, through this circumstance. And your mind forms a strategy to get you there. How you will be, how you will dress, how you will look, how you will converse, how much money you will have. Are you a people pleaser or not? All these secondary and tertiary patterns emanate from this illusory concept of I must seek in order to have, otherwise I will not have love. Look at people on the twin flame journey. You're seeking, constantly searching, eyes darting backwards and forwards, left to right. And maybe you're not admitting it to yourself all the time, but you're seeking. How do you release yourself from that? Do you convince yourself at the level of the mind that you don't want them? Good luck. Best of luck with that. Let me know how it works out for you. I'll be here. TLDR, spoiler alert, it doesn't work that way. You cannot convince yourself at the level of the mind to release the seeking of the mind. You cannot. You can only sink deeper into conscious awareness. That is what can liberate you. That is the only thing that can take you up and out. So, in essence, what I'm saying here is you cannot seek horizontally and find fulfillment or release or liberation or real, permanent love. It can only be found vertically. And yes, it's readily available. Why? Because it's not contingent on 3D reality circumstances. If you are in a 3D reality experience, there is space, time, and distance, which means an event that your mind deems as probable to cure you of your seeking is currently separate from you. That person may not have manifested. They might be nowhere in sight. And so you seek and you check and you wait and you wonder. But the vertical process is immediate because it's based in consciousness. And the reality is, everything is here and now. So as soon as you connect to it with that will, with that intention, and you connect to that source of consciousness that is always present within you, if you dig deep enough, if you sink deep enough, no matter how much the mind tries to pull you back up and out, if you do that, you get to a place where the pull of the mind fades, and it's not immediate. It takes practice. You do it again and again and again. Not once per day. You keep reminding yourself of what you are. You are the consciousness beyond physical form. You're only having a physical experience for a short while. That's it. To gather information for the divine from your individuated soul perspective. That is it. It's not the entirety of who you are. It never will be. The physical form will die, and so will everyone else you know and love or don't love. And you will return back to consciousness. Even that is a misnomer. You're not returning anywhere. You already exist there. You're having a dream that you're not there now. A perfect, seamless dream. So difficult to tell the difference. It's very immersive indeed. But you're still staring at a cinema screen. You're sat in your chair and you're so immersed in this movie. You're so immersed in the plot. Is the man going to get the girl? Is he going to survive this situation? And you're there at the edge of your seat staring, and you've forgotten that you're watching a movie. And you can't remember that you're watching a movie from the level of the movie, because that level of consciousness is not designed to liberate you. It's designed to involve you, to pull you in. You must sink deeper. If you find that you've been looping, whatever that looping is, you're seeing a repetitive situation in your life, whether it be your career, whether it be your relationships, whether it be your health, sink deeper. If it's manifesting in the physical, it's manifesting for a reason. There are no useless creations. This is an extended feedback mechanism. And it can be brutal and merciless. But it's not personal. It's not personal against you. It is doing what it is designed to do. And I'm not telling you, you need to fix every situation in your life. Go, do it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying sink deep beneath the turbulent waves of your mind into the depths of the ocean of your soul, where the consciousness and the power to do so already exists. The greatest power requires the gentlest touch. It's not about forcing and doing and trying and shaking and making and baking. It's not about that. It's about reaching a point where the flow of life is effortless. Your purpose comes to you naturally. Your soul aligned. Because you're constantly pulling your consciousness deeper than the mind into a place of actual power, because it's a recognition of who you actually are. You are not purposefully, unknowingly, yes, but purposefully disempowering yourself at every turn. Whatever the situation is, we all have them. If you didn't have a life theme, trust me, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't need to be here. You would have graduated. You are here for a specific reason. And the only way up and out of that consistent suffering, whatever that suffering is sinking into such a deep place of consciousness, of presence, of awareness, which naturally expands the more time you spend within it. And even that is a misnomer. But we're going to use time, since we're living in a 3D physical reality. That needs to be your consistent practice. How do I feel consciousness? How do I feel the love of the divine? How do I turn this experience into a vertical one rather than a horizontal one? How do I stop seeking every external experience and solution? How do I turn it into this consistent, ever-present, vertical pipeline of love and consciousness? And you can feel the difference so quickly, as soon as you bring yourself into presence. And if you're stuck on how to get into presence, I can make videos on that too. If you would like that, drop a comment down below and let me know. I'd be happy to get into that. I think that's imperative. Absolutely imperative. Your consistent suffering, for those of you, and I know I'm speaking to certain people that I have had these conversations with, you have this consistent vein of suffering within your life. Yes, it may have started out as your life theme. Absolutely. That's not your fault. But once you become aware that you have a part to play in this and you have a free will component, it does become a choice. And I'm attempting to give you this awareness now, to say, hey, you have the free will to choose a deeper form of consciousness that is devoid of this suffering and that has the power to liberate you from this suffering and also change, by proxy, your external circumstances. Who doesn't want that? We're here to still have a physical experience. Who doesn't want to have their dreams realized? Absolutely. If it's relevant for you, it will happen from a deeper space of consciousness. There is one challenge with this. When you're in a state of such deep pain, when the mind is so supercharged, when your emotional body is so untended to, finding presence can be very challenging. Because the mind and the mental plane has so much fuel with which to fuel the engine. That engine that produces the torque that pulls you up and out of presence. It has everything that it needs. It's overflowing. This is why we deal with our emotional body. This is why we deal with our density. We do so lovingly. We feel what we need to feel. We allow it to come up and out, but we do not attach a story or a value judgment to it. We allow it to be. We allow it to release, but we are consciously aware that we are not the one who is suffering, who is grieving, who is abandoned. We hold a space of consciousness where we can hold ourselves, yes, as the loving soul observer, the loving soul parent, if you will, the one that knows its true nature. This helps you release the density and removes the fuel that the mind has to constantly stoke the fire and the engine that pulls you up and out so quickly every time you try to move into presence. The first painful thoughts emerge. That's why it's so uncomfortable. People don't like doing it, even though they know it's good for them. It seems like the worst option at times, because you get to feel everything all at once. You need to deal with it sequentially, through that same form of deeper consciousness that needs to be dealt with. Once you've dealt with that, you will find it is so much easier to sink beneath those turbulent waves. Because you have paved the way energetically, you have opened the system enough that it's easy to sink your awareness deep into the body. It's no longer a threat to be there. And then peace can be felt. And then from that place of deep consciousness, seeking fades. The horizontal allure of the physical fades. You can still see it, you can interact with it, yes, but you don't need it. You no longer have the illusion that this is going to fulfill me. And so you stop wanting certain things that you have wanted all your life. And you surprise yourself. I don't understand. I've wanted this for so long. Why don't I want it anymore? Because you've shed yourself. Or I should say you rid yourself of that illusion that that is going to fulfill you, because now you have direct experience with what fulfillment is because of the vertical pipeline that you have established. And that's a beautiful place to be. Then you can go and have your experiences and not be too attached to them. Be relaxed if they come or go. It puts you in a seat of power. It puts you in a seat of peace. And once you're there, you're not going to want to leave. Does this make sense? I hope so. If you have questions, ask away. I try to answer every single question. Yes, it's good for my channel, but I genuinely care. I don't want you to suffer. If you're listening to me, I personally don't want you to suffer. I want you to be free of that. Why? Because I know suffering. Oh boy, do I know suffering. Likewise, if you're stuck on your journey, whatever that journey is, and you want that personal one-to-one guidance, the information about my sessions is in the video description, and I'll be happy to join you there. I'm going to leave it here, but I will see you next time on the Void Compass with more.